Okay, so this is a political story, and it's a fascinating political story. It's about deregulation, and it's the conservative Republicans in Congress are gearing up to put forward a proposal yet again that would launch a huge rollback of federal regulations. This time, they have a good chance of seeing it pass. We're talking about the Republican-backed REINS Act, which stands for Regulations from the Executive in Need of Scrutiny. They love an acronym in Congress. The proposal would turn Congress into a gatekeeper for certain major rules and allow lawmakers to roll back countless regulations for the remainder of President Donald Trump's term, drastically transforming the way the federal government oversees everything from businesses and banks to healthcare and energy development. Conservatives have spent over a decade working towards ways to implement the REINS Act. This goes back to the post-Obama era and even during the Obama era, the REINS Act, but it's failed every single time. So what's the Republicans' plan now? Well, we'll get to that in a second, but Cenk, what do you think first about the fact that they have got this trifecta in Congress now, and they're trying to implement this, and they're using old rules to do it?
Yeah, two quick things here. Number one, you think you got rid of the uniparty and the establishment? No, you didn't. Just like Michael said, the Republican establishment has been trying to do this for decades. So where's the difference with Trump? There's no difference. In fact, he's added rocket fuel to it, right? And so as Michael's telling you the rest of the story, understand what regulations means. Like they turn it into a dirty word, like, oh, the regulation is all bad. No, for example, regulation is don't take your toxic sludge from the factory and put it in the local pond because the kids go swimming in the local pond and we don't want them to have cancer. That's a regulation. So if you say I'm against all regulations, you're honestly an idiot. You're saying, I don't think, I just support corporate rule, right? And so that's the other thing that I wanted to tell you. If it's regulation just means laws, but actually it's a little bit more specific than that. It means laws that apply to corporations. And that is why the Republicans have been saying for their whole careers, no regulations, no, there should be no restrictions on corporate power. They should be able to crush their workers, crush their communities, all to make an extra buck. No regulations on our beloved corporations. That's what this is about, and Trump isn't any different, he's even worse. He's empowering the Republicans to do the thing that they haven't been able to do for decades, which is to get rid of all laws for corporations. Total lawlessness so they can abuse the living crap out of the average American and make even more money doing it. That's what this story's about.
Yeah, and wait till you hear some of these in a moment, but let's keep going with what's happening and how it got there. So advocates of the rule shredding proposal are seeking to give their legislation a coveted spot in the GOP's party line energy tax and border security megabill, a maneuver that would defuse the filibuster threat that has repeatedly thwarted their dreams. They say they have spent the better part of the past year crafting ways to ensure their latest iteration can pass muster in the Senate. And the House Judiciary Committee advanced it last week as part of the reconciliation package. Their proposal would require any major rule that increases revenue to be approved via a joint resolution of the House and Senate before taking effect. It would also allow lawmakers to retroactively terminate countless rules that federal agencies have already implemented by requiring them to submit them to Congress for review. Rules that Congress does not approve would automatically sunset. So let me give you an idea here about what allows this to happen in ways that are shocking. There's a law, a little known law that was passed in the late 90s called the Congressional Review Act, and allows lawmakers to reverse recently adopted regulations with a simple majority vote in both chambers. And it's a strategy that Trump used in 2017, and they're trying it again. So the resolutions of disapproval under the Congressional Review Act need only a simple majority, and so that makes them filibuster proof. This allows them to circumvent the partisan gridlock that stands in the way of most significant bills. And I want Cenk to tell you just a little bit about because it goes to what you were just saying, about what the kinds of rules and regulations they want to do away with or already have. So far this year, Mr. Trump has signed 3 such measures. One, overturning Biden-era regulations on cryptocurrency brokers. Remember that? another canceling fees on methane emissions, and a third doing away with the additional environmental assessments for prospective offshore oil and gas developers. Those are three that have already been signed by the president for gas, for crypto, and again for petroleum. There are five that have passed. They've cleared Congress and they're waiting for the president's signature. Among them is one that eliminates a $5 cap on bank overdraft fees. So you're talking about who are you helping? The bankers, the oil people, the cryptocurrency, the crypto bros. It's a much slower pace than 8 years ago when Republicans erased 13 Obama administration rules within Mr. Trump's first 100 days in office. Before then, just so you know, the law had only been used once when President George W. Bush reversed a Clinton-era rule on ergonomics in the workplace. That was to have people have more stress-free work environment and for a healthier workforce. And that was the one time it had ever been used, Cenk. So this is massive stuff.
So they want to nuke all of the laws relating to corporations. So, but don't worry, it's not like there'll be fraud in crypto if there's no regulations or no one watching over them. And oil companies, they would never spill any oil into your kids' drinking waters or communities, etc. if there's no regulations. No, they would do the right thing, even though it costs them money to do the right thing. They'll just voluntarily do it because that's how corporations normally work, especially oil companies. But my favorite is the banks. So these Republicans now pretending to be populist in the Trump era are like, why don't we let the banks rip off their own customers? Because the previous regulation, there's tons of them, but they would say things like, hey, you cannot charge too much for an overdraft, right? So you can't, $30, what do you need $30 for an overdraft charge for? And you can't take it from the first, when they take the most expensive one bill you have first, then you overdraft on each one of those, right? So then the $30 turns into $300. So the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and other organizations had gotten it down to $5. Now they're saying, no, let's let the banks rob the average American again. Go back to the days of good old robberies. And remember, some of the banks were charging you when you didn't even do overdrafts. They would just literally steal your money. Oh, regulation, terrible. Let's deregulate the banks. But the banks, not only will they not rob you, even though they have a long, long history of constantly robbing you, but on top of that, they won't take any crazy risk like they did in 2008 and crash the economy if we have no rules, right? And they could bet as much as they like with your money. I bet they won't take big risks to make more money. They'll be calm and reserved, and they'll just voluntarily do the right thing, because that's what banks always do. These are the fake populists pretending to be for the average guy as they take tons of money from bankers and oil companies and big pharma and every other kind of company and deregulate all of them and go, here's your return on investment for investing into us crooks. So oftentimes Democrats and Republicans play good cop, bad cop, and the Democrats absolutely drive me crazy. On this one, there's a couple of issues, and this is one of them. No, the Republicans are much worse. They've been trying to do this scam forever and ever. The Republican Party was built for rich people and for corporations and big business. And now they think, oh, good, no one's paying attention anymore. We're pretending to be populists. Now let's rob them blind. Let's take everything. And that's exactly what's happening now.
And being able to evade the filibuster means that they can probably have a better shot at it. Republican senators, to that point, believe that they now have the edge. Senator Mike Lee of Utah, Rand Paul of Kentucky, and Kat Cammack from Florida. She's a representative in the House. And other conservatives have met numerous times over the better part of the past year, holding countless meetings, running hypothetical scenarios to make the provision palatable to the Senate parliamentarian, Cammack said. The trick with this is to get it through the bird bath. That's a reference to Robert Byrd. The House is its own animal. The Senate is subject to other tests. And so it really was just about rearranging the language to make it so that it could survive the Byrd tests. Byrd refers to the late Senate minority and majority leader Robert Byrd and his rules on regulation. He was a real stickler for rules, and he wrote a lot of them, and many of them are arcane. There is still the possibility that this will not pass, but that's sort of unknown at this point. Democrats obviously aren't happy about the idea of this proposal or its potential for passing due to sneaking it in the megabill, this Republican megabill that we've heard so much about. Even though they didn't put up much of a fight during House Judiciary deliberations, this is Representative Jamie Raskin blasted the provision that would allow Congress to repeal numerous regulations through the use of a single resolution, asserting that such action would be used to hide the most destructive deregulatory votes among dozens of others, completely burying it in darkness. Because they can use this, rather than going through one by one, they can lump them together and do it this way. And that's what Raskin is saying we can't even go through. With a few moderate Republicans who've been against their own party on this when it comes to the reconciliation bill votes, people like Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski of Maine and Alaska, respectively, they have not said exactly what they're going to do on this, Cenk. But it's a very difficult place for Democrats to find themselves now, because these regulations, because of this arcane rule that we were talking about, they could go through.
Yeah, so when Democrats are in charge, oh, filibuster, we can't get anything done. Now, the Republicans are like, no, we're gonna get around that filibuster no matter what. We're gonna deregulate the living crap out of everything. It's gonna be total lawlessness. Corporations are gonna get to do whatever they want. Plus, we're gonna give them another tax cut from 21% to 15%. So Trump will have taken corporate taxes, Mr. Populist, taking corporate taxes from 35% down to 15%. That's the legally minimum number according to a deal we made with the rest of the world. It cannot get any lower, okay? And on top of that, giant tax cuts for the wealthy. Put together, those tax cuts are about $5.5 trillion right now. So Democrats are like, oh, there's nothing we can do with the filibuster. Republicans are like, step aside, man. Here we go, $5.5 trillion, corporate tax cuts, corporate deregulation. We can do anything we like. So I don't know, man, put me in, coach. So if there's a populist Democrat one day, I'm not, and if we have anything to say about it, my God, do I not give a goddamn about that filibuster and the parliamentarian? Because they're gonna run roughshod over it right now. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll say, oh, you know what? The beloved parliamentarian rules us all. Donald Trump bows to the parliamentarian. Well, we'll see.
Donald Trump will demonize that parliamentarian if it doesn't go the way he wants it to go. But he'll also probably say it's the wrong people in the Senate that are dealing with it and the wrong people in the House who are managing it. And if I was there, I would have made sure the parliamentarian did the right thing. So that is something to watch, and it's something that's really disturbing, because the protections of the filibuster at least usually protect against extreme legislation and rules like that.
Well, we'll see if it holds. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.